Good evening. Welcome to Parent University. We're so happy to have all of you join us this evening. I am your host, Beth Pendergrass. I'm the Chief Communications, Strategy, and Engagement Officer with Rio Rancho Public Schools. Tonight, our Parent University is focused on career technical education and dual credit opportunities in Rio Rancho Public Schools. If this is your first Parent University, welcome. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how this works. You are watching this session via the RRPS YouTube channel. And if you notice, we have turned on the comment section in the streaming. And so what we want you to do, if you have any questions during this session, to please enter them into the comment section, and we will capture those and we will get to the questions following the presentation. We ask that you do not put comments, general comments in that section. We really want to reserve it to questions. Please make sure that your questions pertain to what we're discussing this evening. Those are the only questions that we'll address following the presentation. And make sure that you don't put anything there that's inappropriate. We'll also remove that. So thank you again for joining us. I'm going to introduce you to our presenters. We have David Latham with us this evening. He is the Director of Career Technical Education for Rio Rancho Public Schools. And we have Benton Spradlin, who is the Career Technical Education Coordinator. And so with that, I would like to turn the time over to them to begin presenting to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth, and we appreciate all the parents and everybody out there being with us. And I'm going to go ahead and present my screen to you and get started here. Dave, is there anything else you want to add?
No, I just appreciate everybody and thank you, Beth, and everyone who helps put this on. And if you have any questions, please ask. And you know, if you think of them later, we're going to give you some contact information, and you can get a hold of us later and ask us any questions that you have.
Absolutely. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and present my screen to you, and we've got a few things here we want to cover. This is our CTE team. Beth just introduced David and I. We also work with our administrative assistant, Susan Jaramillo, and Paul Lockhart works with job shadowing and internships. Just kind of the outline of what we're going to go over in Parent University tonight is our RRPS CTE mission and goals. We'll go to our CTE website, show you that resource. We'll go over all of our on-campus high school CTE programs. And once again, we'll say CTE a lot. That's career and technical education. And then we'll talk about dual credit and CTE dual credit program opportunities we have for the kids. And then we'll take questions. So our RRPS CTE mission and goals. Our mission is to provide students with career exploration, hands-on experience, and certificate opportunities to advance their employability and post-secondary options. Essentially, what we want to do is we want to expose kids to different career pathways and give them some real meaningful education in those areas that they think they might be interested in and want to pursue as a career. Now, this next slide just kind of shows you an overview of all the programs, the 18 programs we have at the high school level. I won't read them all to you at this point. We're going to get into we'll also look at them on the website, but we have a kind of a very wide-ranging group of opportunities here for students, you know, ranging in everything from engineering to automotive technology, you know, things in healthcare and biomedical sciences. You can see them all here. And then we also have our 4 dual credit opportunities that are dual credit programs with C&M in welding, fire science, nursing, and medical assistant that David is going to go into more detail about.
Real quickly, if I can jump in, just to let people know, not all these programs are offered at each high school. Some of the programs are duplicated at high schools, but some of the high schools have individual and unique programs within that school, and Benton's going to go through that in just a second.
Absolutely, good point. So at this point here, we're going to take you to the website. So I'm going to share this tab, and so the way you get to our website is it's real easy. You just go to rrps.net. I'll take you to the Rio Rancho Public Schools homepage, and under schools, under the schools tab there, the first one is Career and Technical Education, or CTE. Okay, so this is our website here. We've spent quite a bit of time trying to put together good information, up-to-date information on all of our career technical education programs in the district. We got our mission here. A CTA pathway is a 3 to 4 class sequence in each career cluster, and we'll look at those sequences. And here, this is a impressive statistic here, is that students that take at least 2 classes in a CTE pathway have a 93% graduation rate, which is more than 13 percentage points higher than the national average. And that just tells us that if you get kids involved in things that they enjoy, that they're interested in, they do better in those classes, but they also do better in all their other classes, and they're more apt to graduate. So CTE is just wonderful for students.
If I can jump in just a second, you look at this website, and Benton has done a great deal, and he's the one who's put this together and done a lot of work on it, and it's changing. It's fluid. We add and subtract out things that are relevant, and you can see there are a lot of different tabs that we're going to go through and talk about. But it's a great tool for parents, for students. There's lots of information on here, and we're going to try to walk you through that so you know how to navigate. Sometimes you can just get on there and just kind of explore it and spend just 3 or 4 minutes looking at different things on there. But Benton has done a great job putting this together.
Well, thanks, Dave. You can see here that we've got we have got, let me make sure that, whoops, I'm sorry. Okay, so you can see that we've got almost 2,400 high school students involved in CTE programs, with 25 teachers at the high school level. And then at the middle school level, we have 1,000 students and 12 teachers. So CTE is very far-reaching, and we've got a lot of students involved in it. So I'm going to take you from the homepage. We're going to go to high school CTE programs. Okay. So from here, we've got links to Rio Rancho High School, Cleveland High School, the Cyber Academy, and Independence of programs. So I'm going to go to Rio Rancho High School off of this page, and we have listed, and we've got buttons here for each of our different CTE pathways at Rio Rancho High School. And down below, I want to show you this. This is a really good summary for you parents and students out there to just kind of get a snapshot of all of the different pathways at Rio Rancho High School. And
one of the things, if you look at this, it's divided up. The classes are divided up into concentrators, and intro classes, and capstones. And I think that's important to know, that almost every pathway, every series of classes has an intro, a concentrator, and a capstone.
That's right, and we've worked really hard to work with the PED to make sure that each one of these CTE pathways is aligned with the correct STARS numbered class that's recognized by the PED. So there's been a lot of work going into aligning them correctly and offering the classes to the students. So you can see here, each one of the pathways and the sequence of classes. So we hope that this is a really good resource for you. This is something we just added here recently. And in some of the programs that we're still in the process of developing all the classes for, some of them are not offered for the next year, and that is indicated here on this page. So I'm going to go up here, and I won't necessarily take you through each one of these, but you can explore. For instance, you can go to let's go to automotive technology first here, and on each one of these pages is some general information. We've got an overview of the pathway. We've got the career outlook. We've also got the course sequence again, and there's the current teacher of the program and their email address. So you could, reach out to that teacher in an email if you wanted to, if you had a specific question. So I'm going to go back. We'll look at, I don't know, we'll take a look at another one here. PLTW Biomedical. PLTW stands for Project Lead the Way. It's the organization that we've aligned ourselves with for the curriculum, and we have 3 different Project Lead the Way programs at Rio Rancho High School. All excellent curriculum, just wonderful curriculum. So once again, the pathway overview, career outlook, course sequence, and then you've got a email to the teacher. So so we have each of the buttons to pages for each of the pathways, and the overview of all the class sequences there. So hopefully that's helpful information to you. I'm gonna go back once again, and we'll take a look at Cleveland High School. Okay, so again, the same format, same layout here. Take a look at the Ag FFA, pathway overview, career outlook, course sequence, and teachers. And this one also, we have a link to the FFA website. And back at the Cleveland High School CTE homepage, there's the same overview here of all the CTE pathways at Cleveland High School. Some of them you'll see the same as you saw over on Rio's site. Some of them are unique, and vice versa. So you can see kind of some of the differences in what's offered at each of the schools. But can't overstate enough, we have an amazing group of teachers that teach these pathways that are extremely dedicated educators and really love their content areas. David, anything else you can think of that would be helpful here on these pages?
I think on each of the page, if there is a CTESO, that's the Career Tech Student Organization. That's on there. Like DECA is in itself a student organization. The FFA has their own. What am I missing? Ed Rising has a student organization. Automotive Technology has Skills USA as their CTSO. And so that's one of the things we're really pushing as student organizations within those. I know that a lot of them have competitions. We know that DECA right now is involved in their state competition. Is that correct? Or quickly coming up? State competition?
Right. They're quickly coming up in the, we're trying to keep everything as on track in a virtual world as possible. And in the spring, early spring, DECA has their district and state competitions, as well as Ed Rising and Skills USA, and FFA kind of follows the same schedule as well. But we'll just go to the marketing DECA page here on Cleveland, and we have the link to DECA there in actually a couple different places. But like David said, we're involvement. The data shows us and studies show that kids that get involved in uh, CTSOs or career technical student organizations like DECA, like FFA, like Ed Rising and Skills USA just really do well and get a lot out of it. And they're great resume builders for students as well.
Some of those can carry out of high school as well, like Skills USA can be taken in their Skills USA in college.
Mhm.
So they can continue in those same CTSOs either in college or in a whatever institution they're in for higher learning.
Mhm. And you're right. I know that DECA has a pretty strong presence at the collegiate level as well. So that's kind of the overview um, of the different pathways at each of the high schools. And we're happy to say that the involvement in these is growing. We're really doing a lot to get the word out and making parents and students aware that these pathways exist and the benefits of them and what they can do for their education. Um,
Ben, can we go back to the main high school page
you
and
bet.
look
I'm going
at
to back up.
cyber and
Yes,
independent?
that's correct. And we can talk about those. So if we go to Rio Rancho Cyber Academy, we've got robotics there, and also we offer uh, automotive technology is available to the cyber students as well. Um, and just to kind of get a little more specific about automotive, is there is an application process to that one, and students can get into it starting in their 11th grade year. So they would apply in their 10th grade year to get into automotive. And that automotive program is currently um, offered over at the transportation depot off of Northern over there, and it's we provide transportation to the students to get over there.
Okay.
First,
Excuse me, Cyber Academy and Independence, their transportation is not provided, but they do have a separate period for them. Their classes start at 2:45 in the afternoon and they run until 4 o'clock. So there's a separate program for them um, simply because of their scheduling. Makes it really hard for them to show up during the day.
Yeah, correct. Thanks for kind of clarifying that. And then so Independence. Once again, we got the automotive technology program available to those students. We really thought it was important. We wanted to make it available to everyone, and we got quite a few independents and cyber students involved in our automotive technology program. So I'm gonna go back now. I'm gonna back up to our home page here, and David, you want to go ahead and talk about get into dual credit a little bit? You want to talk about the general dual credit, and then we'll go to the dual programs.
We go to the general dual credit tab.
Okay.
So on the general dual credit tab, we have some information. If you'll scroll down for me, we have 3 different little videos that are made there that kind of explain. You go to the general information. I think that's the one that people need to look at and really understand this. The dual credit general information page has some requirements on it that it's really important that students understand this and know exactly Rio Rancho, what the requirements are. These requirements, for the most part, are built off of the New Mexico PED and their requirements for dual enrollment. And I'm not going to go through all of them, but there is a page of eligibility. Student has to become eligible, and it kind of goes through what you have to do to become eligible. A lot of it has to do with your next step plan, okay? And so, you know, students are on Naviance, and they've been on Naviance since at least 8th grade, maybe 7th grade, and there they have a 5-year plan that they fill out. So when you start taking dual credit, you need to, your dual credit classes need to coincide with your 4 or 5-year plan off of Naviance. So let's talk about what dual credit is. That's the first thing. And so if we look at what dual credit is, it simply means students can take while in high school, can take college classes, okay? And so you'll get high school credit as an elective, plus you get your college credit. Now, why is dual credit good? Well, dual credit's really good simply because the college that you're taking this with, either CNM or UNM, they pick up your tuition costs, okay? So that's really big. And Rio Rancho Public Schools picks up the cost of your textbooks. So it's really a great deal for the student. So now you go, okay, what does the student pick up, or what does the student have to cover? Student will cover any class costs or lab fees that are involved in that. Most classes do not have those, but there are some classes that do. Specifically, when you get into skilled trades or you get into any of those type of IT classes, there will be costs that the student have to cover. But for the most part, there isn't a lot of costs that students cover. So dual credit is really a great deal. Okay, it helps students kind of jumpstart what their careers, and especially you know, if you know what you're going to do, and if it's working towards that 4 or 5-year plan, you say, okay, I can jumpstart, or I can start these classes just a little bit early. We have quite a few students taking dual credit in the district. A couple of things with dual credit. Right now, Rio Rancho Public Schools does not pay for the textbooks during the summer. Not students that take dual credit classes, and I'm going to talk about your dual credit CTE programs in a second, but those students are allowed to take 3 classes that will be put on their transcripts, okay? And we pay for 3 textbooks for those classes, 3 classes of textbooks. All right. Now,
David, I was just going to jump in there real quick. This is, once again, we've got a bunch of great information here. Everything that Dave's talking about there is on this dual credit general info page. You can go there and read about student eligibility, you know, ongoing eligibility, etc., and really get some good information. And then, of course, Dave set up all the dual credit CTE programs and works with dual credit with all the students. He knows every student in virtually in dual credit, so you can always you can reach out to him and ask him questions as well.
So a couple of things with dual credit is that students and parents need to know. With dual credit, there's so much right now that is online, and there's I don't know if there's any that are in person learning right now where we're at with the pandemic. You know, a year ago we had in-person classes. Students could take those classes with their CNM is really helpful, but any CNM campus, specifically CNM West Side or CNM Rio Rancho. I know a lot of students have told me that the students that go to Rio Rancho High School, they live actually closer to the West Side campus than they do to the Rio Rancho campus. There's also more classes offered there. So students can take these classes whenever. If they're online classes, of course, you can get on them at any time for the most part. But we have students taking classes in the afternoons. We have students taking classes in the evenings as well, right? And we've had students taking classes at the main CNM campus, CNM West, CNM Rio Rancho, and UNM, okay? UNM campus here on the west side, and also UNM main campus. So UNM is also in that dual credit scenario. They have a little bit different rules and regulations. CNM does, and UNM, they don't have exactly the same rules and regulations. There's a dual credit checklist there that's really, I think, handy that we've put together. And so you can get on it and you can see, it tells you how to register for classes, how to register for CNM, and how to take the AccuPlacer, where to go for the AccuPlacer. AccuPlacers right now are online. You need to contact CNM about it, but it has a lot of information on that. The other one that's below that is a dual credit application form. And this is the one that needs to be filled out with their counselors. Dual credit, the counselor has to approve this, okay, or someone in that school. And for Rio Rancho, it's the counselors. So that application process is an online process. The first part of the form that you're going to fill out, it's a two-part form. You're going to fill out general information page. You click to next, and it's going to take you to a page where you're going to type in the classes you want to take. How do you know that information? Well, those are the classes. You'd go to CNM, you'd look on their website, you'd get with your 4-year plan off of Naviance and figure out what classes you want to take. Once you click submit on that form, it's going to take you to, that form is going to be routed to your counselor. Counselor is going to approve it. Once that does, it's going to be back emailed to the student. The student will fill out the book form. The book form, you need to have the name of the class, the CRN. You need the ISBN number of the book. And we have some information on how to do that as well, how to find that information. You submit this form, and then it goes to the Rio Rancho CTE office for approval and to verify that books are available. Some of the books we have on campus in our offices, and some books will just have to be purchased at the CNM main campus. We are really encouraging everybody to use online textbooks as much as possible. Sometimes some students don't like to use online textbooks, some students do, but we think it's probably right now the easiest way for students to get their dual credit textbooks is the online version. Again, Rio Rancho Public Schools pays for it. I know that they say it's going to be put on a bill to you until it's paid for, but they send CNM sends Rio Rancho Public Schools a list of all the students that have bought books, and Rio Rancho Public Schools pays for those. You can scroll down a little bit. I think, is there more underneath there? Here's some really cool places. Go up just a hair, right there. Announcements. There's like a video on how to register for a class. There's PowerPoint on how to register for CNM classes. There's something on how to find your schedule for dual credit students, and you can click there and it's going to take you through. One of the things that students need to find and learn how to use is something called My CNM. That's their CNM account. At UNM, it's called My UNM account. And you need to learn how to use those because it's going to tell you everything. And it's going to give you all the information once you learn how to use that. There's textbook information on there, dual credit textbook information as well. And just there's a ton of information here on this website. So this is the dual credit side. This is for students just taking regular dual credit classes, okay? And now the next tab that we want to go to are those.
I'm going to go back to our homepage here, David, and then and so where he wants to go now, it's the CTE dual credit programs, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Now, let me talk to you a little bit of difference about these programs. These are still dual credit programs with CNM, but they're career and technical education programs. They're very specific programs. And we run 4 programs that have a very specific curriculum with them, okay? And so these programs have been in existence now. Some of them have been as long as 5 years, some are just this first year. And again, there's a page right in the middle that kind of explain the programs. We have a fire science program, we have a welding program, we have like a pre-nursing program and a medical assistant program. There's some classes on there that people take, etc. Now, one of the things with these dual credit CTE programs, we call them jumpstart programs. We're not necessarily getting you a certificate or an associate's in them, but we're trying to get you started in that path. So if you back up to the top there and you see just the welding, let's just take welding. Okay, we work off of CNM's 33 or 34 credit hour welding certificate program. So the welding classes that you see here, blueprint reading, welding math, introduction to that's stick welding. We have introduction to TIG welding and introduction to MIG welding, and all of those are on there. We have students right now taking blueprint reading 2 as well. With the pandemic, CNM has not wanted to do any face-to-face classes, so it's really been tough for our welding kids. It's been really hard with all of our students because we're not getting those hands-on. But we will get those hands-on back again, and hopefully we'll have those up by spring. So really, there's a whole series of classes that you can go, and students can go further than really what's up here as well when they start talking to instructors and about classes, and they can keep pushing on through some of these. So let me
David, can you just, what do you typically recommend for a student that gets into fire science, welding, pre-nursing, or medical assistant? What do you advise them on how much of a load to take per semester?
That's a great question, because really for dual credit, you can start taking dual credit. The PD allows it, and we allowed it your sophomore year. So what I always tell students is don't take more than you're going to know you're going to be successful in. Okay. So if you're a sophomore, you really don't want to take more than one dual credit class. You want to take something you're interested in and something you're going to be successful in. Okay. I think that is the biggest key. Now, all of our programs are different. And so the amount of time it takes, our involvement in those classes is going to be different. So I'll take, let me take Principles of Emergency Services. That's the fire science class. It's a great class. It covers a lot of really neat stuff. These are students who want to go into that emergency service, the fire and rescue or EMS classes. That's really what you're talking about. Now, that Principle of Emergency Services, yeah, it's a good class, but it's not going to require the same amount of study and intensity as the EMS classes. The EMS classes are going to be a lot more intense. Now, once you get into the pre-nursing program, go ahead and stay there, Benton. Once you get into the pre-nursing program, again, things start to pick up, because now pre-nursing, this nursing is about science. And if you're not a big science person, then it may not be the correct path for you. All right, because there's math requirements and composition requirements, but then we get into the sciences like biology, chemistry, microbiology, anatomy and physiology, pathophysiology 1, pathophysiology 2, anatomy and physiology 2. These are all of the prerequisites that are required for a student to go into the nursing program at CNM. Okay, so you've got to have these prerequisites before you can get into CNM's nursing program. We work with CNM's nursing program, and it's an associate program, a 2-year program, but you have to get these prerequisites first. So we've had a lot of students come through that have taken a large number of these classes. In fact, we had some graduate last year that only needed 1 or 2 classes to fill out their prerequisites before they applied to CNM's College of Nursing. Now, one of the things about nursing, I know there's a huge demand on nurses right now, but everybody who goes into a nursing program needs to take a test called the HESI test. And the HESI test is a test of skills, all right, basic skills. You have to take it and pass it before you can get into the program. So once a student finishes the prerequisites, they would need to apply to take that HESI test and then apply to the College of Nursing there at CNM to their program. I can tell you this, that CNM is taking 90 students every semester. They're working on trimesters. So they're taking like 250 to 270 students a year into their program. A very good program. Associate um, RN is a great program. You can get jobs and start working on your BSN or your 4-year program. I know a lot of hospitals will pay for that. All right, as you're working for that hospital, they'll pay for you to go on and get your BSN. All right, it's a great opportunity. While we're on this, we're going to talk real quickly about medical assistant program. This was its first year, and unfortunately, we put this on and try to get this program going right at the pandemic. And this was really, really a hard program to get going in this pandemic. The idea behind this program is it's basically a 2-year program. And when students come out at the end of their senior year and finish up the summer classes after they graduate, then they could sit for their licensure as a medical assistant. Now, it is not as involved as the nursing program, as of the associate RN program. It's not as involved. It does not take as long to do it, but the pay is not as good either. I mean, you're kind of sacrificing one for the other. Pay's still pretty good. There are a lot of jobs out there for a medical assistant. A lot of people are working as medical assistants while they're finishing up a RN or associate RN degree. So medical assistant program is a good program. Again, it's one of the programs we're going to be pushing a lot more this year than we did last year. We just had a hard time again getting this one up going during the pandemic. It was really hard on us, on a lot of our students. So these are the 4 programs that we have. Welding program, again, is a great program. Fire science program. We've had a lot of success in 3 of these 4 programs. Again, the medical assistants new, but the other 3 we've had a lot of success in. We've had students in the fire science program finish the wildland firefighting and get their certificates for that class and go on and get on fire crews during the summer. We've had some go into armed forces, into their fire science programs, get right into those programs. We've had students coming out of the EMS courses there, get into UNM's EMS courses, going on to CNM. We have 2 or 3 students from last year out of Rio Rancho High School that really like the fire science, and they're pursuing that at CNM. They're in the fire science program at CNM right now. So
David, if I could just interject there for just a second. Over here on the left side, we've got, buttons for each of the 4 programs where there's more info and the application to the program. So, like for instance, you click on this, and it takes you to the fire science page. I'm still presenting there.
Yeah, you're good.
So it you can drill down by clicking on that button and learn even more specifics about the program, the mission, the criteria, admission scores in terms of the Accuplacer scores.
Hang on a second, that's the occupation scores, if you
Go
would.
ahead.
Just to let you know, not every program have the same Accuplacer score. So all students going to CNM, taking dual credit classes, it doesn't matter if you're in a CTE dual credit or not, you have to take the Accuplacer or have taken an ACT and get an ACT score. Not all ACT or Accuplacer scores are going to be the same for all the programs. They are going to be a little different. Okay, just to let you know. Some of the courses, again, on here were pre-COVID courses, and so some are not offered, weren't offered this year. Wildland firefighting was one of them. They did not want to offer that simply because had to be in person. That's the only way it could happen. But it will be picked up hopefully again next fall.
But this document here, you can really kind of drill down and learn more about the programs, and got a lot of good information here. I'm going to back up and hopefully maintain you up and still presenting from that tab.
If you want to kind of learn more, there's some little videos up as well. There's 6 or 7 minute videos And there's one specifically for dual credit CTE programs. There's one how to sign up, etc. And as you can see on this page, as our other dual credit page, there's some general information. There's checklists, etc. One of the things about being in a CTE dual credit program is if a student is in one of these programs, all of these classes will go on your transcript, okay? Not just 3 like if you're not, but if you're in a CTE dual credit program, all of the classes will go on to your high school transcript. Okay, so I think that's one of the biggest differences.
I would really encourage parents and students out there, if they're interested, go to this dual credit page and watch these videos that David put together here. It really the videos really kind of help clarify some things. If you kind of get lost in some of the documents, I would say watch these videos. It really help you. And I was going to do one other thing, like on the fire science or welding, when you do drill down here, there is the button for the application is there. So when you're ready to actually apply, you would click on the application button, complete that, and like David said, it'd be routed to your counselor first, and then over to the CTE office. So I'm going to back up there.
You want to go back to the main page?
Yes, let's do that. I wanted to point out to him the job shadowing and internship, but I don't know if we're quite ready to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so on one of the things, we did, and we really want to make this website a valuable resource, and we were really making big strides with job shadowing and internships before the pandemic hit. And Paul Lockhart, to give him a lot of credit there, he was working really hard, working with teachers and organizations and healthcare institutions, getting kids, field trips and job shadowing opportunities. And then when COVID hit, we couldn't do that. So we decided to try to be creative and just reach out to people and talk to them about their careers and interview them, and we posted these videos on here. So if from the homepage, if you go to job shadowing and internships, it'll take you to this page, and we have lots of different people on here from lots of different backgrounds and occupations and careers that are really impressive, inspirational. They're just really fantastic. And while we don't have every career represented here, we have a lot of them. Project managers, electricians, people that own construction companies, firefighters, very successful master teacher here, Amy Guzzi, electrician, more people in construction. We've got master automotive technicians here. Some of those interviews are some of the best we have. More people in construction, and I'm kind of glossing over them, but I would encourage you to go to this page and look at some of these and watch some of these videos. They're really excellent. HP worked with us, and they've got quite a few interviews from people, highly successful people in their organization, and they're just talking about how they got into the field, what they love about it, what they find challenging about it, and just they even talk about, they'll talk about salary range in here. That's one of the questions that we ask. So we would really like to see this utilized, and I think there's some interviews on here that could really give a kid great insight and maybe even change the trajectory of what they're thinking about for a career. What do you think about anything else you want to add to that, David?
No, I think it's really good. There's a button up there on internship opportunities in the metro area that's coming
Mhm.
off of, I believe, workforce page.
The
And
Department of
so there's
Workforce Solutions, yeah.
workforce solutions. So there's a button there that they can go to if people are interested in those opportunities. We had a lot of fun helping. We're filming the videos. Um, we did them ourselves, and I guess you can see that when you look at them. But we had a lot of fun with them, and great people that we interviewed, some really cool people, and they had some great stories and great insight into their jobs. I think it's a huge tool that people could use.
Yeah, definitely. So, we've been going here about 45 minutes. We've taken you through the high school CTE programs, kind of give you an overview of those, dual credit, as well as the dual credit CTE programs, and then looked at, the job shadowing and internships. I wanted to, before we took some questions, is here on our page. This is our CTE team, and we got links for David, myself, Paul, and Susan. If you after this, if you didn't get a chance to get a question answered, you can. We welcome you emailing us and asking us something. We'd love to hear from you.
So I guess at this point we can take questions. If anybody has questions that we can go to. And
Great. Thank you, Benton and David, for your very thorough and informative presentation. There's just some really great information there for families and for students. And I invite all of them to spend some time and learn more about the programs and reach out to you with their questions. You did such a wonderful job that we have no questions this evening. You must have covered everything that people wanted to know. And so we just really appreciate your time. We will be posting this video to our YouTube channel and sharing it in other places so folks can continue to watch it and glean from it. And we invite all of them to reach out to you via those links. And so I leave it up to you if you have any final comments that you would like to share, and then we will call it the night.
only thing,
Go ahead, Dave.
only thing I would like to say is, CTE for us is real important, and we have a lot of different CTE programs in the district. We're trying to add more all the time. We're always looking at programs we can add. They're, I think they're very important. If you are really interested in an area that you think the student really thinks they want to go into, get in there, get started, take those introductory classes to go all the way through, take those completer and try to get into your capstone classes in there and look at that as a career. And again, there's a great opportunities for students out there, and it really, just you can see with the data, the graduation rates for high school students and CTOs or CTE classes are much higher, and so there's a huge benefit.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to say thank you, Beth, and we appreciate the opportunity, and we hope to hear from some parents and students with some questions. But yeah, we're really passionate about this, and we've just seen great things that can happen with career technical education. So we're very excited to bring this information to you, and we're excited about the future of CTE and Rio Rancho Public Schools.
Excellent. Thank you again to our presenters. Thank you to everyone who watched this evening, and we look forward to hearing from you. Everyone, we hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you. Bye.